Long ago, in ancient India, in a small and peaceful kingdom called Kapilavastu, there lived King Suddhodana and Queen Māyā, remembered for their kindness and integrity. One night, Queen Māyā dreamt of a radiant white elephant, a symbol of purity and spiritual power in ancient India, descending from the starry sky. Holding a white lotus in its trunk, it entered her body from her right side. She awoke calm and unafraid, as though sensing that destiny had quietly shifted. When the royal astrologers heard of the dream, they declared it an auspicious sign. This child will become either a universal monarch, or a great sage who turns the wheel of Dharma, the teaching that leads beings to awakening. Months passed gently. One morning, Queen Māyā traveled toward her parents' home, and arrived at a serene grove called Lumbinī. Flowers bloomed, birds sang, and a tall Ashoka tree, the tree of no sorrow, stood in full grace. Feeling joy arise, she held one of its branches to rest. As the Buddhist saying goes, where the mind is still and clear, there lies the field of awakening. And in that quiet moment, Prince Siddhartha was born. According to Buddhist tradition, he is said to have emerged from his mother's right side, a birth untouched by pain. His body shone like gold, his expression serene. For a moment, the world seemed to fall silent. It was not merely a child entering the world, it was the seed of awakening falling into human life. The newborn prince stood upright, calm and composed. He walked 7 steps to the east, and lotus flowers bloomed beneath his feet. Then 7 steps to the south, then west, then north, each step opening a lotus-like light rising from the earth. The lotus, born from mud yet unstained, reminds us that even while living in a troubled world, the heart can remain clear. The 7th step is the leap beyond the wheel of conditioning, the step into true freedom. Then, according to tradition, the newborn prince raised one hand to the sky and one to the earth, and declared, "In the heavens and on earth, I alone am worthy of honor." Taken literally, it may sound proud or self-praising. To a modern listener, it might even sound like the ultimate expression of ego. But in Buddhist teaching, the I does not refer to the ordinary self. As the Avatasika Sutra teaches, mind, Buddha, and all beings are not separate. The I here points to Buddha nature, the inner dignity shared by all beings. As the prince spoke, the sky responded with wonders. Clouds swirled, light shimmered, and 9 heavenly dragons, symbols of wisdom and blessing in Eastern traditions, appeared in the air. From their mouths poured fragrant streams, warm and cool, gentle as rain, bathing the newborn prince. This became known as the 9 dragons pouring water, the origin of the bathing the Buddha ritual. During the ceremony, practitioners recite, "I now bathe all Buddhas, embodiments of pure wisdom and virtue. May all beings in this troubled and impure world be freed from suffering and realize the clarity of their true nature." Outwardly, fragrant water is poured over the golden image. Inwardly, we reflect on our own anger, greed, and confusion, and wish to wash them away. The dragon's fragrant water symbolizes Dharma, wisdom, and compassion. A single drop can soften a hardened heart. A single ladle, if it helped someone let go of anger or attachment, is already a true bathing. Thus, every bathing the Buddha ceremony is really a bathing of the heart. The dragons pour water from the sky, but the dust that truly needs cleansing is the dust within our own hearts. The wondrous signs surrounding the prince's birth are often described as 3 great signs. His birth in the Lumbinī Garden, the lotus blooming beneath each step, and the declaration of inner dignity, and the heavenly dragons pouring fragrant water. Some of these appear in ancient scriptures, others were shaped by later Buddhist literature and art. Scripture and tradition reflect one another. These stories carry layers of meaning beyond history. In that moment, the Buddha's story became more than history. It became a symbol passed down through generations. On a map, Lumbinī may seem like a small place. But in Buddhist history, it is a turning point, the place where a prince was born, and a path quietly opened. From delusion to awakening, from suffering to peace, from the ordinary to the noble. Queen Māyā gave birth while holding the Ashoka tree, the tree of no sorrow. Its name alone captures the flavor of the Dharma. Life brings birth, aging, sickness, and death. Joy and sorrow come and go. Sorrow is inevitable. But the Dharma does not deny sorrow. It teaches us how to find no sorrow within sorrow, how to discover liberation within suffering. The Prince's lotus blooming steps remind us that every step in life is taken in the mud of challenges, yet each step also holds the possibility of a lotus blooming. His declaration, "I alone am worthy of honor," helps us avoid both inferiority and arrogance. Not inferior, because we possess Buddha nature. Not arrogant, because all beings share it equally. The heavenly dragons pouring fragrant water offer a silent teaching. We do not need to wait for a special day. Whenever greed or anger arises, we can remind ourselves, this mind can be clearer. That moment is the true bathing of the Buddha. Across centuries, stories of the prince's birth have been told in many forms. Some miraculous, some symbolic. Some focus on the supernatural, others on the teachings. But from another perspective, we need not rush to judge them as fact or fiction. We can treat them as mirrors, reflecting how we see ourselves and the world. The flowers and trees of Lumbinī remind us that awakening can begin in ordinary moments. The Prince's lotus steps remind us that the line between ordinary and awakened is just one thought. His declaration reminds us to honor the dignity within ourselves and others. The dragon's fragrant water invites us to cleanse the heart again and again. When we hear the story of the Buddha's birth, instead of seeing it as a distant legend, we might quietly ask ourselves, has there been a moment in my life when I, too, was willing, like the newborn prince, to acknowledge my inner dignity and take a step toward awakening? If so, then the Buddha's birth is not only in Lumbinī, it is in you, in me, and in every heart willing to awaken. The day the Buddha was born was not merely the arrival of a child, it was the beginning of human awakening.